Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinema Savvy. And another year has passed. The Academy Awards are on us. We are back again for the 96th Academy Awards. And like we do every year, tradition on the channel at this point, I'm going to be going down and looking at all of the animated film nominations for this year. An interesting selection this year. I know that last year it was pretty much nailed on for what was going to win. This year it's very much up in the air. There are two candidates that are absolutely leading the race, and then there are three very unique, stylistic, very different films leading the charge behind. So we're going to go through them today. And what I want to hear from everyone at home is what your thoughts are on the actual selection of films this year for the Academy Awards from the animated film selection. It's always a mixed bag. We always get, one film from the major studios, one film from a side studio, and then some good film selections, and then one complete random one. And this year, we're going to be talking about all five that have been selected, especially after last year where we had Pinocchio winning. We had the amazing Guillermo del Toro talking about how animated movies are cinema and they should be recognized as cinema. Let's see what this year's bag has been, concocted with all of these films coming out. So I'm going to go through them one by one. I'm going to talk about kind of my predictions with them as well, how well they're going to do and everything like that. As we go through the video as well. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also go and find us on all of our social links. The link tree description is down in the description, and then you can go and find us on Redbubble as well to get all of our socials to find out all about all the videos that are coming out from here. So let's start off with the big studio one, which this year there could have been a few different ones that were selected. I mean, Disney kind of dropped the ball with Wish. Their 100th year, their centennial film did not get nominated for the Academy Awards for Best Animated Feature. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. But when you watch the movie, it makes absolute sense that it didn't get nominated. It did not deserve the nomination over any of these, even if I didn't enjoy all of them. Let's talk about, the other studio that's owned by Disney, Pixar, which managed to get their nomination in with Elemental, which actually I quite liked Elemental. I think a lot of people were harsh on Elemental when it came out, and it picked up a lot of momentum. It started off being a box office bomb, and then it started to gain momentum, and people actually started to like it, and people started to actually watch it. It ended up being profitable in the end for Pixar. And Pixar, they're going through a weird patch at the moment. I still have yet to see Lightyear. I've heard that it's not the best. So it's interesting that they came out the back of Lightyear, a film where they put all of their kind of eggs into one basket, and then they have this film here, which seems to be doing better. And, they've re-released Turning Red into cinemas. They re-released Luca into cinemas, two films that weren't in cinemas over the pandemic. And I feel like they've been better received than, Lightyear and some of their more recent efforts. So it's very interesting that, Elemental, a film which, was okay. It isn't, the best film in the world, isn't the worst film in the world, but, it's definitely a manageable film. It goes into the elements really well. I like the storytelling. I like the visuals of it and everything that's involved in it. It managed to pick up the nomination. Do I think it's going to win? No, it's not going to win. I mean, it's one of those things where we still know that some of the Academy voters let their kids watch the films and pick whichever film the kids like. It's a Pixar film, so kids will get on with it. However, I feel like with this one, there are two films which I feel have better, stronger cases for Best Animated Feature, which, will probably steal the limelight a bit more and, we'll probably have a better shot at it. Doesn't mean that Elemental is not a bad film, because I do want to go back and watch Elemental again. I saw it in cinemas. I saw it once when it came online as well onto Disney Plus, and then I haven't seen it since. It's one that I'm definitely going to go back to. It's not a terrible film in general, but it's definitely one that you can get along with, and I could see it being kind of friendly to Oscar voters to go for. I still don't think it's going to steal it. And Pixar, once again, in an unusual place, similar to Disney at the moment. You can look forward at their slate that's coming up, and you look at it and you go, don't really see anything there that's going to be competing with the likes of Sony at the moment, with the likes of other studios who are, putting out absolutely sensational films. And I mean, even one studio here, which embarrassingly, we'll talk about Robot Dreams when we get round to it, managed to get a nomination off a, absolute minuscule box office, just from a critical kind of view and everything like that. So that's kind of my thoughts on Elemental. We're now going to move on to Sony's pitch in. Now, Sony have been hitting it out of the park recently. They've been, absolutely stealing the show. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse was one of the best animated films to win in recent memories. It changed the game because it took out the big guns. It stopped the streak of the Pixars, the Disneys winning it, and it came in with a brand new, fresh, kind of innovative style of animation, which every single studio has been trying to copy since. And its sequel did not disappoint. This is a fantastic sequel. It ended up being one of my favorite films of last year. It's much loved amongst the fans. People are patiently waiting for the final part. Had a fantastic villain, had a fantastic score to go with it, had a fantastic hero's journey in there as well. Expanded on the original universe and made it bigger and better. Very rare that you would have an Oscar-winning, film have a sequel that is just as good, if not better in some respects. And I feel like the film has matured in that sense as well. I personally, I prefer it to the original, but it's back again, it's strong, and it's coming in, and I believe it's one of the favorites for this. I think it has the chance to win. At the moment, it's the bookies' favorites to win it. It's going up against tough competition in the form of The Boy and the Heron, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I truly believe that Across the Spider-Verse has the stamina from kind of memory of the previous film. It won the Oscar, to moving on to this film to be able to get it. However, it's worth bringing up, about, paying the artists and everything that's involved in that, because, it delayed the next film along, the way the studio has actually treated its artists and everyone involved in the process and everything like that. Not the strongest of things to, have floating over you with a film. Especially with the actors and the writers' strikes this year, to have artists being underpaid and overworked and everything like that in their own field to make films like Across the Spider-Verse, as good as Across the Spider-Verse was, it's a dark cloud hanging over that film's head when it comes into the award season. Will it affect the results? I don't think it will. However, that is something that may be taken into account still, with that kind of fresh in the minds of people going into vote. Especially after, unionization of various different things. The actors and writers managed to win their strikes. They managed to get what they wanted, the deals that they needed. I know that video game actors and artists are going on strike soon as well. So, it's one of those things where, I wouldn't be surprised if animated drawers and, people working in animation started to unionize and go on strike as well, going in line with various different things that have been going on in the film industry recently. Across Spider-Verse, very interesting film, high budget sequel to going into it. Now we move on to The Anomaly. This is the one where they always throw it in. Last year for me, it was The Sea Beast. It was a Netflix film. I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen this, seen it advertised and stuff like that, but surprised it managed to get a nomination. I actually quite enjoyed it. We move on to Robot Dreams, and I actually have to pull up my phone for this one because there is so many different things about this film, which, fascinating. This film, Robot Dreams, is a Spanish studio non-verbal film. There is no dialogue in the film at all. It's not it's kind of like a silent film. There is, there's whistling, and there's September by Earth, Wind and Fire thrown in there. It's an unusual film about the relationship between a dog and a robot. Dog buys a robot as a companion, and then it's a story about kind of companionship and dealing with being apart, being separated, and dealing with moving on. It's a very touching film. It's a very interesting film. It is only 102 minutes long. It was made on a $5 million budget. It only made $700,000. It's a film that made $700,000, and it got nominated over Disney's Centennial Film. That is embarrassing on Disney's respect, and that is fantastic for this small studio called Arcadia Motion Noodle Production. Movistar got involved as well into helping make the film. It is interesting. It was released at Cannes, and I'm guessing that's why it got the nomination, because people liked it at Cannes. It was at London Film Festival, but I did not see it at London Film Festival. It is absolutely fascinating this got nominated. Do I like this film? Not really. This isn't my cup of tea. It dragged on a bit. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting. It's got a very basic cartoonish style to it. It's cute. But at the same time, because it's got a cute cartoonish style, I find it very interesting that it's got some quite dark subject matter, to do with, depression and loss and, companionship and everything in between. It's very interesting. To be this kind of film, to be nominated. I know that it is much loved amongst film critics and people alike. It just wasn't my cup of tea in the end. It's a cute film, but it's just didn't quite hit me in the way that I would have wanted to, with the other films on this list hitting me in different ways and invoking different emotions in me. It's fantastic for a film like this to be nominated for Best Animated Feature. Is it going to win? Absolutely not. I mean, no one's heard of this film. When this nomination came out, I was like, "Wow, really? Is the film really that good?" Kind of thing. It's absolutely fascinating that it's been nominated, and yeah, interesting film. If people are able to go and watch it, I don't know how freely available it is to watch currently, but yeah, give it a watch. Tell us your thoughts on it because I love to hear what other people thought about this film. I don't really have any other words other than fascinating, interesting, but I didn't quite enjoy it as much as maybe other people did. Moving on from that, I'm going to talk about a film which I absolutely gushed over when it came out, which is Nimona. And I'm so glad that this got nominated because it got snubbed in various different other awards, including the Golden Globes, where it was snubbed. It wasn't nominated. And just, I absolutely adored Nimona. Nimona is the Netflix pick for this year. Netflix have been consistent with their animated films, doing at least one good animated film per year that would be nominated into the Oscar category. This one is brilliant. Absolutely loved it. It is adapted from a graphic novel. It is just such a fun film, a medieval steampunk kind of theme, a theme about fitting in, a theme about building a relationship. Is it good to be bad? Is it bad to be good? Kind of vibes and everything like that. Has a fantastic, thrilling ending. It's filled with action. It's filled with heart. It's filled with characters who you immediately get on with. It has a very open and quite touching story where two characters are gay, but it's not a big deal. It's fantastic that it's able to do these various different things where it's just accepted in the universe and it isn't absolutely thrown in people's faces. Absolutely love that because that is a brilliant way of showing acceptance within the media. And this film, Nimona, I adored for all of those reasons. It isn't pushing any agenda in any way, shape, or form to which people would be offended by it or would get angry over social media over it. It is telling a story using subtle storytelling, using openness, and just being absolutely out there and honest with its audience from the get-go. And if you can't get on board with that, then why are you watching cinema in the first place? Cinema is about inclusiveness and openness, and this is exactly what this film is all about. I would highly recommend the Mona. It's a great watch. I really need to watch it again. Love the animation style. Loved the voice acting involved in it, and just loved the story. Absolutely loved the story. It was one of my favorite films of last year. Like I said, two animated films, which were two of my favorite animated films, two films from last year. We finally move on to the film that I watched at London Film Festival, the film which I think is currently the favorite amongst critics. Whether it will be the favorite on the night, whether it will get the award, we will see. And that is The Boy and the Heron. Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki. It was his swan song, but now there's going to be more. So we'll see how many more he ends up making. This film, I don't know if it's going to end up being my Crimson Peak or not. I need to rewatch this film. When I watched this film at London Film Festival, it was a very early screening in the morning, and I don't think I was in the mood for concentrating on watching a foreign language film on a massive screen with a bunch of critics. It wasn't the right vibe. It wasn't the right time to watch that film. Thinking back on the film, thinking back on the score, thinking back on everything involved in the film, I'd love to rewatch it in a different context. I'd love to watch it again, not only its original language, but I'd love to watch it with the American voice acting work that there's going on with it, or the British voice acting work, in the case of this film, going into it. Just because I feel like it would be a different experience. I feel like I would see the film from a different light, and it'd be very, very interesting to see it in that sense. I definitely need to rewatch it because I feel like I was too harsh on it because it was an early morning and everything like that. And I'm actually quite excited to watch it again. I'm excited to pick up on the smaller things that I missed on the first time round. I'm excited to see the visualization of the story, the amazing animation at the start, all the way through to the different style of animation thrown throughout the film, the beautiful kind of melting of people, and just gorgeous, gorgeous stylization in this film. Great voice work when I watched it originally as well, and I'd love to see the voice work, in English alongside it. So I feel like there's two rewatches coming along for this film, which I will have to do at some point in the future. It's once again a very interesting film. I think when it came forward as a nomination, a lot of people immediately said, "Yeah, this is the favorite to win it. This is more likely to win it than some of the others." And I have to agree. I feel like it's got a very good shot of actually winning the award, and I guess we'll see how it goes in the end, how it plans out when it comes around to award time. So, I mean, we're going to do our Oscar predictions at some point this week as well, with myself and George. But I'd say my prediction from this one, I want to give it to Across the Spider-Verse, but I get the feeling that Boy and the Heron might sneak it. It'll be very, very interesting when it comes to the night. I don't think Elemental, Robot Dreams, and Nimona has a chance, even though I absolutely adore Nimona out of those. And if I was to rank them from best to worst, as in what I prefer, I'd go Across, Nimona, Boy and the Heron, Elemental, and then Robot Dreams down underneath. But I would also like to hear what everyone else at home thinks. What was your favorite animated film of the year? Was it one that wasn't nominated? We had loads of films such as the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was the highest grossing animated film of the year, second highest grossing film of the year from US box office, didn't end up getting nominated. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Madness, which didn't get nominated as well. Wish, there are some fans of Wish out there that didn't get nominated. We also have, films like The Peasants, which was the company that made Loving Vincent, completely oil painted film, did not get nominated. So please, down in the comments, tell me exactly what animated film you would have wanted to see win this, whether it's one from the list or whether it is one that wasn't nominated this year, which we need to go and check out. We need to go and watch to get a fair assessment of what the best animated film was from last year. And please make sure to go and follow us on all of our social medias as well. The link to link is down in the description. You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Letterboxd as well. Go into the Redbubble link in the description as well to pick up some merch. And yes, finally, just tell us your thoughts on animated film selection. I would like to know. I would love to start a discussion on this because we always start a discussion on this every single year when we talk through the best animated films of the year. We look at what was nominated, we look at what wasn't nominated, and everything like that. I've mentioned a few already, so please go and comment below and tell us exactly what your thoughts were on the selection. Thank you ever so much for watching me ramble on about the animated films of the year. I'm really excited about the Oscars this year, really excited about what is going to win. I know a lot of the categories are already kind of signed and sealed, but once again, it's going to be an excellent night. Come and join us on the live stream that night as we go through every single, winner, every single nomination, every single exciting moment on the night. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.